Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of the Seattle Seahawks today. Almost said something else because we're talking about that. Said something else in a moment. Tyler Jones is here with you. Happy Monday, everybody. What a start already to the week here on the program. Coming up on today's show, we'll go to the latest news and rumors on your Seattle Seahawks as we are talking about Sam Darnold drawing comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. We'll let you hear directly from what one NFL Network host had to say, as it's believed that Darnold is the most capable quarterback of taking down Patrick Mahomes and ending his reign. We'll explain more and react to it coming up in our first segment here on today's show. Then in our second segment, we will be discussing some good news on Julian Love. And then we'll wrap up our final segment on an offseason recap, how the Hawks pulled off highway robbery. We'll discuss that and more coming up on today's show. BK saying, Tyler, was that Micah Parsons rumor fake? BK, it was a mailbag question. Pretty simple. It was a mailbag question, and I answered a mailbag question. It's not that difficult. All right? That's all it was. It was a mailbag question. We answer mailbag questions. We do those every week. That's not something new here. We've been doing mailbags for years. Anyways, as you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling here on this Monday. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas. It is my last week. No, I'm not leaving. Although some of you would, I'm sure, be thrilled if that was the case. It's my last week before vacation. I am taking a much-needed break next week, my last break of sorts before football season. So let's get through this week, the next 5 days, and then enjoy the next several days off. I need a break. I need a vacation, folks. But it is good to be here with y'all, and hopefully we have a fantastic week this week before I take that much-needed break, this last one before we get this football season going. Where are you guys watching from? I got Austin in Bozeman, Montana. I got Keith in Bakersfield. Says, let's go Hawks. Got Myron in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Let's see. BK, I don't know what you're saying there, BK. I do not understand what your meaning is on that. Let us know where you guys are watching from. I am in Dallas this week. And then Saturday, I am off to Phoenix. And for people that know me and things that are going on, let's just put it this way. Phoenix is going to be a very interesting trip for a number of reasons. Maybe I'll explain more when I come back, but I don't know what to expect. I'll put it that way. There's women involved, and so that's always going to be interesting. I'll put it that way. But nonetheless, it's going to be a great time, I hope. Let us know where you guys are at. I got Julie in Spokane. I got Logan in Great Falls, Montana. Says, go Hawks. Can't wait for football. Ralph is in Carson City, Nevada. By the way, Nevada, not Nevada. All right? Nobody says Nevada. Just like nobody says Missouri. No, it's Missouri. All right? My dad says Nevada. I'm like, Dad, it's Nevada. It's not Missouri either. It's Missouri. Let's see. Where else we got? We got Ralph in Carson City. Got Keith in Spokane. Do I have anybody in Phoenix, by the way, where I'll be next week? Does anybody want to buy me a drink in Phoenix next week? Because I will need a few drinks next week based on how I know this week is already shaping out. So if anybody is down to grab a cold one, please, by all means, hit me up. Let me know. Ghost is in Warren, Pennsylvania. There we go. Keith is backing me up. Nevada. It's Nevada. That's how it is. Not Nevada. Nevada. No, it's Nevada. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are at as we begin today's show. All right, I got a little quiz. For you. How many Seahawks all-time linebackers can you name? I'll give you two. Ernest Jones IV and Tyrese Knight. All right? I'll give you those two. And everybody should have those two within their answer. I want to see your individual comment come up with as many names as humanly possible. All right? So you should have those two included. And then we'll go from there. Joel, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. That was a joke. It was a sick joke. I'm taking vacation, a much-needed vacation in Phoenix next week. Dredd says Tyler is going to get traded to the Cardinals channel. Those females going to recruit him. That's not in the plan anyway, but you never know with women what they could do to you, you know. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. Myron says Tyler is going to Cougar Town, USA for vacation. Meow. That's not the plan, but plans can change. So you never know. Let's see. Who could come up with the most names of individual linebackers? Logan's got Bruce, Bobby Wags, KJ, right? Logan, I gave you 2 names, and you didn't include them. You should have had those included. I gave you Tyrese Knight and Ernest Jones. Come on. Come on now. I literally gave you 2. I literally gave you 2 names. Keith says Bruce and Bobby, Ultimate Hawks Beast. Keith, same thing. I gave you 2 names. How many linebackers can you name? I tried to help you. I tried to make this easy on you. And you didn't take my names. Oh, come on. Folks, training camp starts tomorrow. Well, rookies report. Not really much going on, to be honest, but we got to be locked in. We got to be locked in. Like Ralph, same thing. I only see 2 names. I literally gave you 2 names. Those 2 names should have been included. Who can come up with the most? Logan's got the most right now with 3. That's pretty weak. That's pretty weak. BK, I literally answered that for you. It was a mailbag question. It was a mailbag question. I answered the mailbag question on yesterday's show. Somebody asked me if they could, if the Seahawks could potentially trade for Micah Parsons, and we talked about it on yesterday's show. Logan says it's cheating if you call them already. No, I'm helping you. I am helping you, Logan. I gave you 2 names. You should include those. I came in to help you. All right. Let's see. Does anybody have any more? Any more guesses on how many Seahawks all-time linebackers can you name? There we go. Joel actually took my answers. Thank you, Joel. Tyrese Knight, Ernest Jones, Boye Mafe, Jordan Brooks, Uchenna, and Wosu. Wosu's technically an outside linebacker, but I'll accept it. And then Drake Thomas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. Juan says, now you kind of know what it's like being a middle school teacher. Yeah. I don't envy teachers. You know, and I know we have some teachers watching. Some of you all are enjoying your summer break and everything. But here's the deal with teaching. All right? Are teachers underpaid? Yes. Yes, they are. But at the same time, too, like, you get your summers off. You're working 9 months a year. It can't be that bad. All right? You're not working an oil field. I mean, you're not working construction. I mean, it ain't that bad. And kids, I love kids. Jonesy loves the kids. Kids can't be that bad to deal with most of the time. And even if they are, just send them to the principal's office. You know? Like, you could. My favorite teachers were always the ones. Here's the sign of a great teacher. All right? Since somebody brought this up. A sign of a great teacher, you got to show movies all the time. You got to give opportunities for extra credit. You got to give completion grades. And I believe, folks, a good teacher, okay, in all levels of schooling, I don't care if you're at Harvard or if you're at Little Sisters of the Poor Middle School, if you complete all the work, you should get at least a C, just for trying. All right? I don't care if you're taking calculus 3.69 or if you're taking, English 101. If you complete all the work, that should be at least a C. And if you're a teacher that doesn't do that, oh, by the way, no teacher should ever assign homework either. If you have homework that comes because you didn't finish your work in class, that's a you problem. But assigning homework, that's bitch-made stuff right there. That's a bad teacher. So, bad teachers out there, for as many good teachers as there are, there's just as many bad teachers in the world, too, that don't care about the kids, that make life more difficult. I had some bad teachers. Yeah. I had some bad teachers. Mr. May in Oregon, you sucked. He was my 7th and 8th grade science teacher. He was awful. Miss Hope, and text joins me right now. Text Miss Hope, bad teacher?
Horrible teacher. It was crazy, like, how fast she would switch up, too. Like, for example, she was my 5th grade teacher. We had 3 rotational teachers that we had A, B, and C classes for different, like, social studies or science. And she was the English teacher, of course. And the teacher would talk with our parents, and I saw it happen firsthand. They would talk with a parent that was with their kid. The parent would walk down the hall like 30 feet, not even, out of earshot. And then as soon as they were there, like, she'd be screaming at the kid again, just like berating them, like telling them how useless they were. I'm like, this is crazy, bro. I'm just a little tiny kid watching this kid get screamed at, and their parents still in the hallway. Like, they didn't even wait for them to leave the building before they get back to screaming at them. They're crazy. And their name was Miss Hope. It's like, what a misleading last name.
Also, a couple more signs on bad teachers that I'll point to. If the teacher doesn't let the kid go to the bathroom.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Like,
I had a math teacher that did that.
They got to take a dump. Let them go to the bathroom. Like, come on.
They're like, you can wait until we're done with our studies and exercises. You're
right,
like,
that's a bad teacher.
That's just cruel.
Another one, too, is teachers that don't accept late work. I can understand if you want to take off some points because part of the assignment was that you had a deadline, you didn't meet it.
Yes.
But if I get a 0 for turning an assignment late, at least I got it done.
Right.
Come on. So
there's effort being put in. You should recognize that.
Yeah. Do I have any people, whether it's teachers or otherwise, that disagree with anything I just said on evaluating good and bad teachers? I think I'm being very reasonable, very fair. I would be, I think, Tex, a very good teacher because I'm pretty chill.
I think you'd be a history teacher.
I could be a history teacher.
I could see that.
I could be a history teacher. I'd be a great PE teacher.
That's a very common combination. I had a track and cross country coach who was also my history teacher as well in middle school.
Yeah. Shout out your bad teachers in the chat. Let them know because there's some bad ones out there. I did not expect that rant today, but that tends to happen on this show. From time to time. But hey, here we are. If you would like a shout out from the one and only Big Tex, who's here with us. Big Tex, happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday.
What's going on with you besides us reminiscing on our bad teachers?
Yeah, I just thought of it. It's funny that you mentioned that. I thought of another guy that we had talked about off live that was also my teacher that was, arguably bad because he made students do push-ups, but that's another story for another day. Spam those S's in the chat. I'm doing well. Just here on our live show on Monday. It's nice because we don't have to wait for mailbag questions today, which is ideal, and we don't have
God.
Right. It's just kind of get to the content after this build-up. We got 3 exciting segments for you guys.
Yes, 3 exciting segments headed your way here in just a bit. If you would like a shout out from Big Tex, spam S in the chat. I want to see as many S as we can. A little slow start audience-wise. I'm not going to lie. There's only about 40 people here so far. We need to let more people know we're here, that we're live, that we're talking Seahawks football on this Monday, our first of 3 live shows this week. So I need you to spam S in the chat. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little congested today, so my patience is pretty thin. So, folks, help me out here today. Let's have a fun show. Let's have a good time. Follow instructions accordingly, please. Don't make me repeat myself. Spam S in the chat. I want to see as many S as we can over this next minute. Tex is going to shout them all out. And let's have ourselves a day today. And Sue's going to be the early favorite to be MVP here on today's show. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Spam S.
All right, I got Myron, Julie, Keith, Gaming Lab HD. What kind of games do you play, my man? Keith. Let's see. Myron, Keith. Got Keith and Myron. Let's get some new names in there. And what's up, Julie? Some new names in there. I'm going to inspire the masses. Let's go. Spam S. Keep going. Big Tech shout-out time. Joel Ray. Gaming. Keith. Paul. Joel. Keith. Joel. Keep going. Don't stop. Pick it up. Myron. Keith. Joel. Joel. Myron. We're trying to tell YouTube that we're live. Spam S. Chad. Logan. Myron. Stoney. There's a new name. Logan. Joel. Chad, Myron, Chad, Logan, Lon, Keith, Lon, Logan, Paul, Chad, Lon, Myron, Keith, Logan, Chad, Logan, Joel, Myron, Keith, Logan, Joel, Stoney, Gaming, Joel, Chad, Keith, Joel,
About 10
Logan.
more seconds.
Keep going. Finish strong. Paul. What's up, Paul? Logan, Keith, Chad, Gaming, Logan. 5 more seconds. Myron, Logan, Lon, Keith, Lon, Logan, Myron, Keith, Logan, Chad, Paul,
There we
and
go.
Keith. Good stuff.
There we go. Now, you said the name Jewel. Was the Jewel on the mind text?
Not really, honestly.
Have you hit the Jewel today?
Once or twice.
Okay.
No.
Okay. What flavor did we go with today?
I believe it's I think it's like an apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it hitting good?
Oh yeah.
Love it. Love to see it.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
I think it's Joel or is it Joel?
It's Joel.
Joel. What's up, Joel?
We like our Zens around here, although Tex gave up the Zens. I'm going with Zone Dragon Fruit. Tex
Best.
is just...
He's carrying the
with his
legacy on for me. I
am.
respect him for it.
I'm zenning for you.
I respect that.
You can live vicariously through me.
Hey.
The pouches.
Appreciate you, bro.
And you can hit the pin for me.
That's right. We have some good memories, bro.
Oh, yes. Lots of good memories here. Thank you all for that. Like today's video to start today's show. We're at 19 likes right now. When we get to 30, we will be good to go, and I will crack open a cold beer. Today I have a Shiner ready to go when we reach 30 likes. But we need you all to hit the like button. And when you hit said like button, type me in the chat and let us know that you have liked the video on today's show. And we would greatly appreciate that, my friends. That's all you got to do. Be a real one. Hit that like button, and let's get this show started. 10 more likes away, and then we will be ready to go here on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Happy Monday to everybody out there. We're at 21 likes right now. I need 9 more, and we will be good to go and get this show started. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend, and I always enjoy when we get to talk Seahawks football and have a great time with some of my favorite people. Doing this show each and every day is always a pleasure. We got an interesting topic that we're going to talk about in our first segment. As I wait on the likes, I need 8 more likes. Type me in the chat when you like the video. Chad says, Tyler, hello, fearless leader. Hello, Chad. Good to see you. 7 more likes, and then we'll begin today's show. Let me tell you about this first segment without giving away too much of what's ahead. So, Jamie Erdahl of the NFL Network. Let me respond to this real quick. Logan says, also congrats. I seen you on Instagram. You graduated. Happy for you, our fearless leader. I didn't graduate. I don't know what you're referring to. I didn't graduate from anything, but thanks, Logan. I'm a bit confused. Didn't graduate from anything, but thanks for the congratulations. I don't know what that's about, but thanks. Okay. 4 more likes when we begin today's show. Let me tell you about this first segment without giving away too much. Jamie Erdahl of the NFL Network was on Good Morning Football today, and the question was put out there. Who is the most equipped quarterback to take down Patrick Mahomes? And her answer was Sam Darnold. All right? We're going to show you exactly what Jamie had to say. And then we're going to compare some numbers and talk about how Darnold stacks up to Patrick Mahomes. And it's pretty interesting. We'll explain more coming up in our first segment. Our second segment today, I still need 4 more likes, and then we can start today's show. And then I'll open a beer when we get 4 more likes. We'll talk Julian Love. Got some good news on him. And then our final segment, we will discuss how John Schneider pulled off highway robbery this offseason. So that is what's ahead here on this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Appreciate y'all being here. 4 more likes. What are we waiting for, folks? I told y'all, I'm a little congested today. I don't have much patience. All right? Do not test my patience. Please hit the like button. Do us a favor. That way we can get on with the show. Please. Keith says, come on, people. I need 3 more. I need 3 more. That's it. And then we'll be good to go. Who is going to help us out? Who's going to give us those 3 more likes? Keith says, please like the video. He said, please. Lon says, Patrick is clutch. Sam is not. We'll discuss more on that here in a bit. 2 more likes away, and we'll be good to go. Type me in the chat when you like the video. Julie liked it. Thank you, Julie, for that. Much appreciated. Two more. Two more, and we will be A-OK and good to go. And get rolling. One more. Who is going to be the one? Who is going to be the one to put us at 30? And then we can get today's show started and show you the Super Chat menu and all that stuff. There we go. 30 likes. Thank you all for that. Raise your glass. Cheers. Go Hawks. All right. Now, let's get to the Super Chat menu today. We have not received a Super Chat just yet, but I would love to have a party and get down today. There is no mailbag today because it is Monday. But if you would like to get on screen today, the way you can do so is by sending us a Super Chat. You can interact with us that way, state whatever is on your mind about your Seattle Seahawks. Maybe you just want to stop by and say hello, whatever it may be. Send us a Super Chat, $sign next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute. First-time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, we'll do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50, we will do a beer bong. The offer, as it always stands, $300 in Super Chats, and we can do a boot, and we certainly would appreciate it. I am very curious. Who's going to send the very first one today? Could be $1, could be $200. I don't care. We're going to go crazy and show some love for whoever sends that first Super Chat and gets this show started on the right note today with that first Super Chat that comes in, and we'll see. Oh, yes, Logan's talking about my proclamation. Yes, I did not graduate, but I did receive a proclamation from my hometown of Broken Arrow. I was named a hometown hero a couple weeks ago. That's what Logan's referring to. Yes, thank you, Logan. Thank you for that. Yes, I did not graduate. I was given a proclamation in my honor, but thank you for the congratulations there, Logan. Here's what's ahead here on this live edition of Seahawks Today. News and rumors. We're going to compare Sam Darnold to Patrick Mahomes, as that's being talked about for some reason. We'll explain more. Also, got the latest on Julian Love in our second segment. And then in our final segment, we'll talk about how John Schneider pulled off highway robbery this offseason. We'll go over all that and more as we continue here on this live edition of Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Let's get this party started. Oh, real quick. First Super Chat of the day coming in from Chad. And then we will get this party started. Chad with the first Super Chat of the day. Everybody start spamming Chad. And we'll throw Chad on screen here in just a bit for being the first Super Chat of the day. And then we'll begin with our first segment here. Chad, love to see it. Thanks for starting the party. Everybody spam Chad. His name may be Chad, but he is not a Chad, if that makes sense. Everybody starts spamming Chad in the chat, and we'll throw him on screen here. Chad, thanks for sending that in. Every dollar counts. As our guy John Smith says, you got to get base hits. We love the big Super Chats, but no Super Chat is too small either. $5 Super Chat, all of it goes a long way. He says, cheers, boys. Cheers to you, Chad. Everybody raise your glass. Go Hawks. Cheers, Chad. Let's go, Chad. Spam Chad in the chat. Thanks for being the first Super Chat of the day. Let's go. There you go. And there's the Super Chat menu as follows. All right, now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started as we are talking about Patrick Mahomes and Sam Darnold. Is Darnold Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite? It's an interesting topic. It's not one I was expecting to talk about today, but hey, let's get after it. Our first segment here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's get started with this live edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, starting right now. You're watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. And I got a little challenge for you, folks. Patrick Seatman of Vikings Now. He says we can't get 500 likes on today's video. He has been talking a lot of smack ever since we took Sam Darnold away from the Vikings. He's been telling me that, hey, Sam is still our guy and all this, and it's just something I won't stand for. I said, Sapes, we will easily get 500 likes on today's video. We got the better ginger, not you. Prove him wrong. Prove me right. Hit the like button on today's video, and we'll get started with this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Welcome in. We are talking all about Sam Darnold today and how he stacks up with none other than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, the best quarterback in the National Football League, one of the greatest of all time. And now we are wondering, after a new discussion was put out there by Jamie Erdahl of the NFL Network, is Sam Darnold the man to take down Patrick Mahomes? Let's dive in a little further here. You know, I'm a big fan of Three Doors Down. I love the song Kryptonite. And never did I think that we would be having this discussion if Sam Darnold's super hands would be the ones to be Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite. But here we are, folks. NFL Media's Jamie Erdahl, co-host of Good Morning Football, believes that the most capable quarterback in the National Football League to take down Patrick Mahomes is not Josh Allen. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's not Joe Burrow. It's not Jalen Hurts, who we just saw do that. No, it's none other than new Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold. Here's more what Jamie Erdahl had to say this morning on Good Morning Football. You got to be hardened, sometimes in the best way possible. You got to be like the entire world has been down and out on me, several franchises over, and Sam Darnold finally figured his business out in Minnesota last year. I'm not saying this Seahawks team could be the one to do it, but quarterback to quarterback, for some reason, I feel like Darnold could mess around and be like, I've seen worse. I've seen the bottomless pit that is the machine that the NFL critiques, and I think Darnold could do it. If anybody, I don't know why, like Jalen Hurts, I have no emotion about this. I'm just going to get the job done and be all business. I feel like Darnold has that in him. All right, so let's dissect what Jamie had to say. First off, that's a lot of rambling on the part of Jamie Erdahl. If you've seen the video of this, it even sounds weirder, her discussing this. And she pulls out like a cardboard cutout of Sam Darnold as well. It's a bit strange, I'll put it this way. Now, could he be the one to take down Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I guess he could be. I'll say this much. At the very least, it's a big vote of confidence in Sam Darnold. Whether it's accurate or not, okay, I do appreciate that Sam Darnold is getting this type of attention, that people are recognizing Sam and giving him credit where credit's due, even if it's not necessarily true. Personally, I wouldn't call him the most capable quarterback in the NFL of taking down Patrick Mahomes. We mentioned just some of the other names that are out there, like Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all these other guys that have been on much bigger stages than Sam Darnold has. We've seen Joe Burrow do it. We've now seen Jalen Hurts do it. All right, Josh Allen's come very close. Lamar Jackson's come very close. We have not even seen Sam Darnold come close to that stratosphere to be in that discussion with those guys as far as being the one to take apart Patrick Mahomes. And here's the bottom line, too. Even though I'm a big believer in Sam, and I'm excited that he's here, the sample size has been up and down. He had a breakout season last year in Minnesota. But also, we have to take two steps back for a moment and remember his last two starts in the biggest games of the year for the Minnesota Vikings in 2024 were horrendous. Not all his fault, might I add, against the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. The offensive line didn't do him much favors in either game. But it was not good, and Sam does hold some blame for that. And arguably what was the two biggest games of his career to that point. All time, Darnold has an 0-2 record against Patrick Mahomes. Granted, none of them have been big games by any stretch of the imagination, but I just don't see what Jamie is referring to. Do I want to believe it? Yes. Do I think it's reality? No. I want to know, what do you think of what Jamie Erdahl said? Is Sam Darnold, of all quarterbacks in the NFL, the biggest threat to take down Patrick Mahomes? Type HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. Chime in the comments section and let us know. Now, let's make the case for Sam Darnold. Let's go over the nitty-gritty, the numbers and the resume and all that. Here's a fact, okay? Sam Darnold had a better season than Patrick Mahomes did in 2024, statistically speaking. Now, that doesn't tell the full story, of course, okay? Well, Mahomes had a depleted offensive line. His receiving core was banged up, was without Rashee Rice most of the year, was without Hollywood Brown, didn't have much of a run game as Isaiah Pacheco got banged up. Meanwhile, Sam Darnold was getting to play with the best receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson, a really solid receiver in Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and all that, okay? But just statistically speaking, Darnold had better yards, more touchdowns, interceptions were pretty close, and the quarterback rating was significantly better for Sam Darnold than it was Patrick Mahomes. But even with that said, no one is mistaking these two. Now, you can go all the way back to 2019 when Colin Cowherd said that Mahomes is going to be the best quarterback of this generation and Sam Darnold is going to be right there behind him. But he's about the only person, he and Jamie, now are the only ones that have put these two within the same sentence at this point, okay? Now, let's go into a little perspective. This is what we're talking about when we say that Sam Darnold, I say we, when Jamie says that Sam Darnold is the guy that's best equipped to take down Patrick Mahomes. Here's what you're talking about going up against. A 3-time Super Bowl champion, a 3-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time league MVP, 6-time Pro Bowler. The resume is off the charts. I think he's the most talented quarterback of my lifetime. I think that he's got the best shot of any quarterback I've ever seen to pass up Tom Brady and go down as the quote-unquote GOAT. All right? This isn't just anybody we're talking about here. We're talking about Patrick damn Mahomes. And he's still got plenty of football left in him. Meanwhile, you look at Sam Darnold, former number 2 overall pick, selected to his first Pro Bowl campaign last year, was named by the Pro Football Writers Association as the most improved player in the league. It was a very good year for Sam Darnold last year. But that was 1 year of good film compared to a whole plethora from Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and had a career-ending injury tomorrow, he would already be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, okay? That's the comparison that is being made. For me, while I appreciate the compliment from Jamie Erdahl here, this reminds me of when Max Kellerman, former ESPN employee who was on First Take, or as I call it, Worst Take, said he would take Andre Iguodala over Steph Curry to take the final shot in a game for the Golden State Warriors when they were in the midst of their dynasty. And everybody heard that and was like, oh, Max, Iguodala's good. He's not Steph Curry. That's what I feel like we're doing. If we're saying that Sam Darnold right now is the guy to take down Patrick Mahomes, you might as well give the ball to Andre Iguodala over Steph Curry and take that last shot. That's how insane that sentence is to say. I appreciate the compliment, but come on. It's like telling a fat chick she's the most beautiful woman in the bar. Nobody really believes it. Thanks, but we know you don't mean it. Or your vision is very screwed up. Pick a quarterback. Who would you rather have? God, I can't believe we're even having this discussion. Sam Darnold or Patrick Mahomes? Type SD for Sam Darnold. I like Sam too. This is what pains me about this segment. I really do like Sam, but we're already having this. Can we see a playoff win First, type SD for Sam Darnold. Type PM for Patrick Mahomes. Let me know. Now, we're comparing the two. Patrick Mahomes does almost everything better than Sam Darnold. When you talk about the skill set and when you say that Sam is the guy to take down Patrick, well, you got to find some things that could separate him, and there's just not a whole lot. There is one thing, though, when we look back last year, specifically speaking, that Sam Darnold did do better than Patrick Mahomes, and if they were to face off head-to-head in a Super Bowl or a meaningful game, could be a difference. Did you know, folks, Sam Darnold was first in the NFL last season when he was with Minnesota in passing yards off of 20-plus yards in the air. He had 1,183 passing yards. But, of course, you have to take into account who he had to work with. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hockenson, and all that. That was way better than the skill positions that Kansas City had. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes, in that same statistic, was 26th in the NFL in passing yards off of 20-plus yards attempts through the air, 462 yards. And then you also have to think about, too, that because of Patrick Mahomes' arm strength, defenses adjust more where they play the 2 and 3 high safety looks against him compared to every other quarterback in the league because they don't want Patrick Mahomes to beat them over the top. So that's another thing you have to take into account. Now, to Sam's credit, as far as even belonging in the conversation with Patrick Mahomes, there is another thing that you got to give Donald credit for. He and Mahomes are 2 of just 8 quarterbacks all time in the history of the National Football League to have 14-plus wins and 4,000 passing yards in the same regular season. That was a very good starting point for Sam Darnold. But there's a ways to go. Let's slow down a little bit, all right? I feel like I've been one of the biggest cheerleaders for Sam Darnold, that I've been in his corner. But when I hear something like this, I'm like, let's put the brakes for a second. I am the voice of reason here, and I think everybody needs to settle down for a second. Sam is not a bad quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback yet either, but he can be. But let's calm down. Show me something, Sam. Just show me a little bit more. I believe, and I think we're going to see more, but let's simmer down a little bit. Simmer down, folks. If you enjoyed today's show, you want to stick it to Patrick's statement, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right. One down. Big text rejoins you right now. Is Darnold the biggest threat to take down Mahomes? HY for hell yes. HN for hell no. Joel says hell yes. Lon says Jamie can say whatever she wants because she's a hottie. Okay. Let's see. What do we think? Tex, your thoughts on this? A little bit of a reach, probably?
I would say more than a little bit of a reach. Crazy enough. I think there's a lot of better quarterbacks currently in the NFC that you could talk about. I mean, the person that beat him last year, Jalen Hurts. That's one that I would put automatically because he's already done. So I would put over Sam Darnold because he's already done it in the Super Bowl at the biggest stage. But I think there's others out there. I wouldn't put, like, all respect to Sam Darnold. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's going to have a lot of success with Mike McDonald, young coach, usually pairs well with, like, a decently young, untapped potential quarterback. Like, I like the pairing, but let's, like you said, let's calm down, pump the brakes a little bit. The other guy is already, like you said, if he was hurt today and never played again, Hall of Famer. This guy doesn't even have Hall of Fame. Like, the guy's not even comparable. We're not even comparing the same team. Like, we're comparing different sports almost is what it feels like until we see more of Sam Darnold.
He hasn't even won a playoff game.
He hasn't.
And we're supposed to believe that he's the one.
It's crazy. I feel like it's
and let's take Mahomes out of the equation just for a second and compare Darnold to the other quarterbacks. All right. Josh Allen,
right?
the MVP. Lamar, 2-time MVP. Joe Burrow, who has beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
He has.
I mean, like, let's give those guys an ounce of credit before we anoint Sam.
I think it's just like I don't want to. I want to say like it's hot take approach, but it feels almost like a hot take approach because you labeled so many other like more capable and more proven quarterbacks. Like Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes. Like
he beat him in Arrowhead
in the
in
AFC.
an AFC championship.
Exactly, and it's like we're just like disregarding that for a guy who's got one decent tape. But you even said with like Darnold's last 2 starts, like that has to come to mind. Like he stunk against the Rams, bro. Like he got eaten alive. His line didn't help, but like I don't think that's the number one guy. I think Sam's gonna have a great season this year, but like let's relax, calm down,
relax.
Exactly.
Super chat menu. We have not had a boot in a while. I would love to change that today, folks. I see John Smith has entered the building. Good to see you, John. First time super chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5 do a beer cheers. $10 take some shots. $20 spin the wheel of punishment. $50 we will do a beer bong. Let's party. Let's have a good time today. I told you guys this earlier. I'm taking a much needed vacation next week. I'm headed to Phoenix, and I would love to go ahead and get the party started and drink accordingly. So there is no mailbag today. The only way you can get screen time is by sending us a super chat. Let's enjoy ourselves and let's have a great time today. Who is going to get this party started? Who wants to get down and have a good time? I am all in for having a good time today, but we need your help, folks. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute and make it happen. All right, let's talk Julian Love. I got some good news on Julian Love to get to. And then we're going to talk John Schneider and go over what he did this offseason as I think the man pulled off highway robbery. We'll explain more coming up in our final segment. As we continue, live edition of Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's continue here on this live edition of Seahawks Today right now. Here we go. We got some good news to get to on Julian Love, the Seahawks safety who enters his 3rd season in Seattle, is finally being talked about in a very positive light. We'll explain more coming up in just a matter of moments here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Folks, I am about to take a much-needed vacation. I am off to Phoenix for a week. It is going to be an interesting time. There will be females involved. I'll leave it at that. Here's the deal, okay? Training camp gets started while I'm on vacation. And I would like to still bring you guys some content and keep you updated on things, especially if we have some breaking news. So here's what I am willing to offer. Let's make a deal here, folks. While I'm on vacation, taking PTO, paid time off, I will do content while I'm away if we can get 50 subs off today's video. Does that sound like a deal? I think that sounds like a good deal. So if you would like me to take time away from my vacation and enjoying some time with the women, then go ahead and subscribe now. Let's get 50 subs off today's video, and I'll do content from the road. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. RESPECT. What does it mean to Julian Love? Well, ESPN, their newest report, is giving rave reviews for the Seahawks safety, and they're not the only ones to do so. We'll explain more here in just a moment, but the latest position rankings around the NFL, according to ESPN, named Julian Love the 10th best safety in the entire league. And this is for both free and strong safeties. So just the safety position in general, they think that he's top 10, which is really good company to be in. That's a major compliment to Julian Love to say that he's top 10 at his position. And we're going to go over some numbers and back up that point. Let's start with this, though. What one unnamed NFC executive had to say to ESPN about Julian Love here. Range, dart, combo of physicality and ball production has developed into a high-end player. Remarkable for a guy that was primarily a corner in college. That's high praise for Julian Love, and it's true. It is a factual statement in regards to Julian Love that he has had that high-end production, that he's been those things. The physicality, the ball production, all of that has been there for Julian Love. And Love has been a great fit, I think, for this Seahawks team for a number of reasons. And you think about the changes that we've seen this team undergo in this safety room as of late. You tried out Rayshon Jenkins. You moved on from Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs and all that. And even with this revolving door at the position, Kobe Bryant having to step up. Now you bring in Nick Emmanwori. The one constant, the dependable guy for that safety room has been Julian Love. He has been somebody that they've counted on time and time again. And quite frankly, he's made this defense better for the Seattle Seahawks. No question about it. I think that he has been a great fit for what they've been trying to do, whether it was under Pete Carroll or Mike McDonald, either one. He's been awesome, to say the least. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN saying this on Julian Love. Love has used his 2-year stint in Seattle to catapult his career, racking up 7 interceptions, 22 pass deflections, and 232 total tackles. His 21.8% ball hawking rate topped all safeties with at least 50 targets this past season. The money parallels the on-field ascension. After 4 years with the Giants, Seattle signed Love to a 2-year, $12 million deal in March 2023, only to extend him for 3 years and $33 million 16 months later. If I were to break down the recent free agent signings, and I'm not going to count Cooper Kupp and Sam Darnold or DeMarcus Lawrence because we haven't seen them take a snap just yet. But if guys as of late that have signed with this Seahawks team, he has been, without a doubt, the best free agent signing in recent memory. Leonard Williams was traded for. Ernest Jones was traded for. Julian Love, the best pure free agent signing as of late. And we talk about dependability. He hasn't missed a single game since he's been in Seattle. He has stayed very healthy throughout his career. And here he is, not even missing a single game to this point. That's huge for him. So, do you agree with what ESPN says? Is Julian Love a top 10 safety in the National Football League? It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know what you think. Type Y for yes, in for no. Do you agree? Is he a top 10 safety or not? Weigh in and let me know. You know, I remember a commercial many years ago with NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, and he had an infamous quote. He said, "Who doesn't love love?" And I think the same can be said about Julian Love. Who doesn't love Julian Love? What's not to like about this guy? He is described by the folks at Seahawks Wire as a stabilizing force. And I don't think that there is a better phrase to use when talking about Julian Love than just that, a stabilizing force. Here's more from Seahawks Wire. The Seahawks have undergone some change at safety this offseason. They released Rayshon Jenkins, officially promoting Kobe Bryant to a full-time role. They also drafted Nick Emmanwori in the second round, trading up 17 spots to land the athletic defender. Love returns as the constant in McDonald's defensive backfield. His abilities and value shouldn't go underappreciated. Pro Football Focus recently named every team's most underrated player. To nobody's surprise, Love was the selection for the Seahawks. And Julian Love's the type of guy I think that every team could use him. Even if you have a safety that's better than Julian Love, and there are safeties that are better than Julian Love. According to ESPN, there's 9 others. You would gladly take Julian Love as the guy next to him. This is somebody that every team would be thrilled to have. And Love, the most underrated player, I would go as far as to say not only is he arguably the most underrated player on this Seahawks team, he's one of the most underrated players in the entire league. How does he only have 1 Pro Bowl selection at this point? It blows my mind. Here's what Pro Football Focus had to say on Julian Love. Love came through with a career year in 2024 as a seemingly perfect fit in Mike McDonald's defense, which led to a more complete showing. Love finished sixth at the position in Pro Football Focus's overall grade, 81.2, and was one of only two safeties, Kyle Hamilton, to rank in the top 10 in PFF run defense grade, 89.5, and PFF coverage grade, 76.1 this past season. And when you look at these specifics of what he does well, it's everything. He is strong against both the run and the pass. This is not somebody that takes plays off. You know, I think back to the Jamal Adams days. And with Jamal Adams, he was such a one-trick pony, right? And it got so frustrating of how much of a liability Jamal Adams was. I don't have that discussion with Julian Love. He is an every down dog in every sense of the word. And he helps out your team in a multitude of ways. I'm a big fan of Julian Love. Do you believe in Julian Love? What do you guys think? Type B for believe, D for don't. Keep it real with me, 12s. Do you like this guy? I like this guy. Weigh in, let us know. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Now, here's another thing. When I look at Julian Love, the constant. I think if I were to give him like some nickname of sorts, I think I would call him the constant because he has been the constant of these defensive backs. I can count on him week in and week out that he's going to play at a high level, that he's going to defend against the run and the pass, and then on top of that, too, he's going to be consistent and he's going to stay healthy. All of those things say a lot about Julian Love here. And you look at the resume. Here's what we're talking about. He's still not that old either. 2019 fourth-round pick out of Notre Dame by the Giants, a Pro Bowl selection in 2023. Last year was arguably even better for him than what his Pro Bowl season was in 2023. 96 career games played with 61 starts in his career. And he's just now really in his prime years as well. Look at these statistics we're talking about here, folks. He was good in New York, don't get me wrong. But the last 2 years have really stood out with the role that he's taken on in this Seahawks defense. Here's what I mean. You go back to his days in New York, 2021, 66 tackles, 7 pass breakups, 1 interception. Pretty solid. Then he steps that up in 2022 with 124 tackles, 6 TFLs, 1 sack, 5 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. I remember at the time when he signed with Seattle, too, I was talking to our Giants host, Marshall Green, and he was really bummed to see Julian Love leave New York. And I was excited about the signing. I remember him telling me, you guys got a good one. This guy, I hate to see him leave because he is a very good football player that makes your team better. And it's paid off for Seattle since. You see that 2023 Pro Bowl season he had, 10 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 123 tackles. And then last year followed that up, playing every game again with 3 interceptions, 12 pass breakups, 3 TFLs, and 109 tackles. And then you go a step further, and you look at his coverage stats. Completion percentage allowed I can live with, just 60%. Receiving yards allowed, just over 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, 12 pass breakups, 3 interceptions. QB rating allowed, under 90, 89.3. Those are numbers I can live with. But here's what tells you the real story. When you take a step further and look at the Pro Football Focus grades, the nerd numbers, as I like to call them. The defensive grade, really good, 82.2. Pass rush grade could use some work, but he's not used much as a pass rusher anyway, at a 54.4. Run defense grade of 89.5. Coverage grade of 77.4. It's all good from Julian Love. And now as we head towards 2025, he gets to lead this group. A fun group, I would say. Young cats like Kobe Bryant and Nick Emmanwori. And then you turn to your corners, and you got Devin Witherspoon, who I think's a star already in this league. Rick Woolen, who's been solid. Shaq Griffin, of course. Josh Jobe. I think it's a fun group. And the face of it all might be Devin Witherspoon, but the leader of this group is Julian Love. For more Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. We'll see you next time. All right, we got a big super chat that we got to get to here in just a moment that came in during the middle of our segment. But let's ask you, Is Julian Love a top 10 safety in the NFL? Why for yes and for no? What do you guys think? Checking in the chat right now. Why for yes and for no? Weigh in. Let me know what you guys think. And Pablo with another super chat as well. All right. So we're getting some nice super chats today. We are within reach of the boot, my friends. We're at $125. If we get to 300, then a boot is within the cards today, my friends. We're getting close to halfway. Been a while since we've done the boot. I would love to do a crazy show today. Let us know. Is Julian Love a top 10 safety in the NFL? Why for yes, in for no? John says yes. Chad says hello, yes. I think he means to say hell yes, but we get the idea. Nicholas says definitely. John shouting out Pablo. We'll get Pablo's super chat momentarily. What do you guys think? Weigh in. Let us know. Why for yes, in for no. All right. Some big super chats to get to. And then we will get to our final segment. Our final segment, we're going to explain how John Schneider pulled off highway robbery this offseason. I think it's been a very successful offseason for Seattle. I know not everybody agrees with that, but I feel very confident. I think John did a very good job. We'll go over that in our final segment that we'll bring you coming up in just a few moments from right now. So stay tuned for that. We're having a little technical difficulties. We're trying to pull up our super chats. As we had that big super chat from John and then another one from Pablo. Uh-oh, did we freeze? Okay. Okay, we're here. We're still here. Good. You want to just make it as a graphic? Okay. Is Julian Love a top 10 safety in the NFL? Why for yes, in for no? Pablo says yes. John says yes. Lon says yes. Julie says yes. Myron says yes. Is he or is he not? Weigh in and let us know what that is, what your answer is. Chime in the comment section and tell me what you think. Is he a top 10? I think he is. I've seen a lot of good things from Julian Love. Ralph says yes. C. Kelly says yes. Let's see. Lon says we got many awesome players, but we didn't fix our biggest weakness, and that will drag the team down. Mark my words. Well, Lon got Gray Zabel, and I think Bradford or Haynes, one of the two, should develop. I can't imagine that both of them are bad. I don't think that coaching staff, the offensive coaching staff last year, did that offensive line any favors. They can't be any worse than what they were last year. But I understand your concern. Ron says hell yes. C. Kelly says yes. Ralph says yes. Let us know the answer. All right. Let's see. We'll catch up on the super chats in just a moment. No, I don't see any streaming. Let's see. John saying having Lucas at right tackle all year is like making a trade and acquisition. That's a good point, John. Because most of the offensive line issues were with when Abraham Lucas was out. That's a very good point. We drafted a left guard who dominated the Senior Bowl. Haynes a better zone blocking guard, and he might step up. He very well might. Do you want to screen mirror it, maybe? John, Pablo, we're having some technical difficulties. Do you guys mind if I just read your super chats? We're trying to get them on screen, but we're having some technical issues. So I don't want to ignore you, but I have to make best with what we got. John, we'll get this on screen as soon as we can. but I will respond to your super chat. Ty Man, no, PD is still doing those from home right now. We'll get this on screen here in a moment, but John, I promise I'm not ignoring you. We'll just answer this best we can. We'll get it on screen as soon as we can. John Smith with a $100 super chat. Bang! John. Everybody spam John. Spam John in the chat with a $100 super chat. Says been away for a while. Great to finally make a live show. Good to see you, John. It has been far too long, my friend. We won a Super Bowl with a good quarterback and great running game and defense. I think the building blocks of something similar are being assembled if Walker and Charbonnet can stay healthy. Who knows? Who very well knows? I think you're right as far as building blocks go. You got the good quarterback. If the offensive line can put it together, you got the running backs there. And then we know the defense is going to be really good. So, John, I'm with you. I like what this team is putting together. I'll do a beer bong for John. Everybody keeps spamming John in the chat. I actually owe him 2 beer bongs. So I'll drink accordingly. Everybody keeps spamming John. Like I said, we're going to try to get John's super chat on screen here in just a moment. Just having some technical issues with that. But here's to John. John Smith, cheers. Go Hawks. Woo! And I owe John another beer bong for his $50 super chat. So we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going for John. All right. Let's see. John says it's all good. I appreciate it. John, thanks for your patience. Thanks for your patience, John. Another beer bong for John. Cheers to John. Let's go Hawks. Woo! Been a while since we had a $100 super chat. That felt good. That felt really good. I'm glad that we could do that and make that happen for John. Sorry about the technical issues that we can't get you on screen, John. But hey, we're trying. Just bear with us. We'll get that on screen as soon as we can. Okay. I imagine the wheel of punishment's not an option with this. Tell you what, let's do this. Since we're having some internet issues, Pablo, with your 20, I'll let you make a dealer's choice. You know the wheel of punishment options that we typically have with the, whether it's jumping jacks, push-ups, raise my right hand, say something nice about DK. Pablo, I'll let you choose what you want, and we don't have to spin the wheel. Just dealer's choice. I never do this, but because we're having technical difficulties, we have to just make do with what we have. So, Pablo, you get the choice what you want me to do for the wheel of punishment, and we'll make that happen. Go ahead and start with John's, if you would. Let me know what you want. We'll pay that off here in just a moment. We'll read your message. He says push-up and jumping jacks. Okay, I'll do 10 of each. I'll do 10 of each in just a moment, and then we'll get to our final segment, highway robbery. Oh, Raw Hector wants me to raise my right hand. Oh, please no, please no, don't make me do that. That's the worst one. There we go. There's John. Now we're cooking. Now we can show these super chats. We had to get creative here, but we're going to throw it on screen for you here in just a moment. Here it is. Here's John's $100 super chat. We found a way to get it on screen. Let's get the money gift going. Everybody keeps spamming John for that $100 super chat. There it is. Making it rain in here. John. Everybody keeps spamming John. Thank you, John, for that $100 super chat. Got those beer bogs for you. We're at 125 in super chats now. If we reach 300, we can do a boot. Pablo, with the $20 super chat, he wants me to do 10 jumping jacks and 10 push-ups. Lon, You didn't send a super chat. You can't make demands if you didn't pay for it, Lon. That's not how this works. It was Pablo's choice. So he's down. So, all right. So I'll do 10 jumping jacks, and then I'll do 10 push-ups. Here we go. He says, I'll answer this first. Tyler Jones, Pablo Domingo. What do you think about Elijah Arroyo? Will be a starter week 1 or week 3? If there's an injury to Noah Fant, then he could start by week 1 or week 3. I'm a big fan of Elijah, but I don't think they're giving up on Noah Fant just yet. I think Elijah is the future. I think he's better than A.J. Barner, but they are going to make him earn it, Pablo. I think I'd be surprised if he started week 1 or week 3, but I'm a big believer in his talent. He'll get plenty of time on the football field as is. So, Pablo, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. There's the 10 jumping jacks. Now I'll do the push-ups. Text will be on screen. He'll count them out for me. And then we'll go back to the Super Chat menu. Then we'll get to our final segment. Folks, it's been an interesting day. I'm a little congested, a little stuffed up, but hey, we're fighting through. One more segment to go before we get out of here and call it a day. Appreciate y'all being here. Live edition of Seahawks Today. We're talking off-season recap coming up next. And if you missed any of today's show, no need to fear. We'll have these segments up on the channel throughout the week, so stay tuned for that here on Seahawks Today. So I appreciate y'all being here with us and making it happen. All right, here's Big Tex. Now it's time for me to knock out 10 push-ups. And let's keep this thing going. Here we go, 10 push-ups now.
Let's rock. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beast. Tyler Jones just knocked out 10 push-ups for y'all. But if you guys want to get involved today on today's show, here's our Super Chat menu. In the meantime, he will rejoin us. But take a look. First-time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant, $5. You get a beer cheers. $10, you get shots. $20, you get a wheel punishment. And $50 is a beer bong. Although wheel punishment is kind of dependent on technology issues resolving themselves. But bear with us.
Friends, there is the Super Chat menu. Dollar sign next to the chat box. We're at 125 right now. We are close to halfway to a boot. We got one more segment to go. If we get to 300 in Super Chats, we can do a boot today. Appreciate those Super Chats that came in from John and from Pablo. Let's get to our final segment. Let's talk about the Seahawks offseason. Delon says, as a former PE teacher, you need to get on your hands higher on jumping jacks. But I would give you A's as participation. Lon, I didn't see any Super Chats from you. I don't think you have any room to be critical, Lon. I don't care if you're a former PE teacher. You can't be complaining if you're not Super Chat. That's how it works. That's how it works. Simple as that. All right, final segment. Let's talk highway robbery. Off-season recap. We'll explain more as we continue here in this live edition of Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, Big Tex here with you. Final segment begins right now. Here we go. The Seattle Seahawks pulled off highway robbery this offseason with some of the moves they made. It was a wild offseason, to say the least, moving on from guys like Geno Smith, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, bringing in Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp, DeMarcus Lawrence, as well as an excellent draft class. We will go over everything John Schneider did, the things I liked, coming up here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have new people joining us all the time here on the channel. And so every now and then, I like to get a survey of the fan base and find out more information about you guys. And so here is my question. I'm curious, have you been a Seahawks fan for 10 plus years? And there's no judgment here. We love when we get new fans that just jumped the bandwagon, or maybe you've been a fan since the very beginning. Whatever it may be. If you've been a Seahawks fan for 10 years or longer, spam 12 in the comments. Let me know. Let me gauge the audience a little bit, and we'll get started with today's show. I believe that John Schneider pulled off highway robbery this offseason with some of the moves he made, and we're going to explain why I believe that's the case here on today's show. And let's get started with the quarterback position. I still remember coming in on my off day on a March night on a Friday. And I was sitting here getting in my car as quick as possible to get into the office to go live because we had just gotten the news that the Seahawks had traded Geno Smith. And it was something that we talked about on this show. We said it was very much within the realm of possibility. We had even discussed the idea of him going to the Raiders to rejoin Pete Carroll. And for all of you that are out there that say that we talk pointless rumors and all this, we were ahead of it before anyone else was. So you could suck it for that. But that's beside the point. Anyway, back to what we're talking about here. That night, we were all searching for answers. What was next? Were they going to bring in a veteran? Were they going to draft somebody? There was no clear direction. And then towards the end of the evening, there was a report out that Seattle already had interest in Sam Darnold. And then the following day, there was another report out that Seattle had interest in Aaron Rodgers. Thankfully, they didn't go the Aaron Rodgers route. They went with a younger, better, and cheaper quarterback than Geno Smith when they signed Sam Darnold, and they didn't have to give up any draft capital for him either. Sam Darnold comes in off a Pro Bowl campaign in 2024 where he was named the NFL's most improved player by the Pro Football Writers Association. It has been a career of peaks and valleys for Sam Darnold. Things did not go well for him with the Jets and with the Panthers. Goes to the Niners as the backup quarterback. And then last year was a breakout season for him in Minnesota with the Vikings. And I got to tell you, I was so impressed with what he did with the Minnesota Vikings. And then the question becomes, how does he compare with Geno Smith? And the numbers that the two put up head-to-head, what exactly are they replacing between these two here? And the numbers are pretty clear that Sam Darnold is, I think, coming in with momentum, that you kind of got what you got out of Geno Smith, that he had reached his peak. And then you see what Sam Darnold did, throwing for 35 touchdowns last year. Granted, he had a fantastic receiving core and everything. It was one of those deals where we said to ourselves, okay, there's reason to be optimistic here, that this guy, even if he just plays at the level that he did before in Minnesota, that's better than what you had in Geno Smith going forward from here. To me, that was a huge sign of his progress. And then on top of that, too, not only did you bring in Sam Darnold, go younger, go cheaper, and go with a more talented quarterback, you put yourself in a pretty good situation when it comes to his contract as well. Sam Darnold's contract, a 3-year, $100.5 million deal with $55 million guaranteed. The contract is fully guaranteed if Darnold remains on the roster after this upcoming Super Bowl. If he's cut after 2025, the Seahawks will only owe Darnold $37.5 million. So let me stop there for a moment before we show you the rest of this graphic. Basically, it's a 1-year contract that he's got. And if Sam plays well, then they'll let things continue on and take on the fully guaranteed contract. And they are saving a lot of money, and they have an out of this situation compared to what they would have had with Geno Smith. And Geno, not to mention, too, he didn't want to be here. He requested a trade. There's opportunity for him to earn an additional $15 million in incentives for the life of the contract. And he also can get other bonuses based on playing time and playoff success. All of those are reasonable things And that, to me, when you navigated this situation with not knowing where you were going to go, to end up with Sam Darnold here, I think that John did really well to navigate this, especially picking at 18, and the quarterback class was not that great. You go with a guy that's got a track record that looked pretty good this past year. I think you made the most of the hand that you were dealt and came out pretty good. Credit where credit's due to John Schneider for finding Sam Darnold. Will Sam Darnold be better than Geno Smith? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in on our pinned comment today and let us know what you think. Folks, want to make sure you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks today as we're bringing you the latest happenings on your favorite team all year, all offseason long with our daily news and rumors. We're bringing you live shows, not just once, not just twice, but 3 days a week. We also have our Madden Sim season that's going very well for Seattle at this point in time. We bring you breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. I'm about to hit the road. I'm going to Phoenix for a little vacation. But if anything happens at the start of training camp, I'll bring you a video from the road. Why? Because we're that dedicated around here, folks. The most dedicated Seahawks channel around is Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. The defense last year was really solid. And towards the end of the year, we're talking about this being a top 10 group in 2024. And not only do you bring most everybody back from last year's defense, but you improved what already was a solid defense. Let's focus on the free agent signings for a moment, not even including what's happened in the draft, because I want to talk about the draft by itself here in just a moment. But here's a look at what you did defensively in free agency. You re-signed Ernest Jones, which was a no-brainer. And he's got a fully healthy knee, which he did not have the last 2 seasons. He was playing well with a banged-up knee, and now he's healthy. That's great. You re-signed Jarran Reed, which was a no-brainer decision. He's played really good the last 2 seasons and has been a force on that defensive line. You bring in DeMarcus Lawrence. I know there's some injury concerns with him, but I think he's a gamble worth taking based on how you structured that contract. And then on top of that, too, what Mike McDonald has done in the past with older pass rushers. You bring in DeAnthony Bell, and there's talk about DeAnthony Bell of his potential role, what he could look like in some 3 high safety looks, some chances to get creative with him. Not a bad signing at all. Shamar Jean-Charles, you brought over from the New Orleans Saints. He's not expected to be a starter, but he's not a bad backup, and if he needs to fill in for a spot start, or if you need to use him in some 4-corner looks, whatever it may be, he's not a bad football player. You brought back Josh Jobe, who started, 10 games for you last year? Only had to pay him $2 million? That was a win, even if he doesn't start. I'll take Josh Jobe on my team. And then Shaq Griffin is back as well. And Shaq Griffin, even after he departed Seattle, has been a very good football player and a quality starter. Now I add him already to having Devin Witherspoon and Rick Woolen. I think that's really good. Let's talk about a couple of those guys, the new players that were brought in. DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence, I know you see the numbers. 3 sacks last year. Got off to a good start before the injury. 4 sacks the year before that. 6 in 22. 3 in 2021. I see DeMarcus Lawrence, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that if he's healthy, granted it's a big if, that he could lead this team in sacks and have a fantastic season. Shaq Griffin, meanwhile, you see what he's been able to do. 2 interceptions last year, 1 interception the year prior, 6 pass breakups, 5 pass breakups the year before that. You're not getting a Pro Bowl corner, but he's a quality starter. And even if he gets beat out by Josh Jobe, that's a good sign for Josh Jobe. And that also means that you have a good backup in Shaq Griffin. I think you're in a no-lose situation by bringing in Shaq Griffin here. Do you believe in the Seahawks defense? Be honest with me, 12s. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comments section. Tell me what you think on the Seahawks defense. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. Nike T-shirts are on sale now for just $15.99. That's it, folks. $15.99 is all it costs to get these fantastic Nike shirts. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT is where you can get yours today. It's getting hot outside. You need some T-shirts. You want to rep your favorite team at the same time. why not get one of these shirts? $15.99 while supplies last. Chatsports.com/COXT to get yours today. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes. We also have other Seahawks merchandise available at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/COXT. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/COXT to get yours today. Last on our reasons why Seattle pulled off highway robbery. It was a great draft. And almost everyone you talk to, of these so-called experts around the National Football League, look at this draft and they say, wow, what Seattle did, not reaching, taking care of positions of need, drafting players for value, and preparing for their future. This draft had about everything except getting a corner, and you signed Shaq Griffin after the draft, so you took care of that still, even as far as that goes. You go back and look at the draft results for Seattle. You started off with getting Gray Zabel. Gray Zabel, I think the best interior offensive lineman in this year's draft. He's going to be your starting left guard. That's a huge improvement from Laken Tomlinson. You bring in Nick Emmanwori from South Carolina. You traded up for him at 35. I don't know what Emmanwori's role is going to be. He's got experience playing safety, corner, nickel, outside backer, inside backer. He's just one of those athletes, I'll find a role. And Mike McDonald's talked about that too. He has said, look, we're going to get him on the field in some capacity. That's going to work. Then you get Elijah Arroyo. And all of a sudden, you're not so concerned about Noah Fant and his lack of production. You're preparing for your future here. Elijah Arroyo is that guy. He is, I think, got star potential in this league. And then you go with Jalen Milroe at 92. And I don't know if Jalen Milroe is ever going to be the starter. I think people would like to see that happen. But at the very least, you got a very talented athlete that you can use in your offense in some capacity as far as that goes, that there can be a role for him in some way, shape, or form as far as that goes. And then you move on. And you move on and go with Riley Mills. You pick him, and I'm feeling pretty good about Riley Mills, what he could do at the defensive tackle spot out of Notre Dame. I know that he's likely not going to play this year, but that's okay. I think that he can be one that takes a redshirt year and that you can prepare for your potential, your future with him. Then you go with Torrey Horton. And had he not been hurt, he's another one that would have been picked much higher than what he was. And I think he's got a chance to compete with MVS for that number 4 receiver position. You go with Robbie Oots, a tight end at Alabama, who you convert to the fullback spot and is an excellent blocker, not a bad pick at all. Then you get Bryce Cabledew at the offensive guard spot coming over from Kansas. I think he was undervalued. I think he's got a chance to do something special potentially. And then you round out the draft with Damian Martinez, who I thought went way lower than he should have been. And he's a guy that he's compared himself to beast mode Marshawn Lynch. I think that might be a reach, but hey, I love the enthusiasm. He's a do everything back. Mason Richmond, he's got some work to do to potentially make the team. And not a bad pick with Ricky White III. The wide receiver from UNLV either. I loved everything they did, and it's hard to hate much of this draft. And you look at, I think there's 2 guys in particular that are going to be immediate impact players. When you talk about Gray Zabel, with his experience, the way he dominated at the Senior Bowl, and I'm not, even though he hasn't played guard before, he was a tackle his entire career, I'm not worried about his transition. I think that in a sense, it almost gets easier for him going from tackle to guard as far as that goes. And then Nick Emmanwori, I mean, a first-team All-American, first-team All-SEC, did it in the conference where it just means more in the SEC. This is a guy that Mike McDonald is looking at, and he's saying, yeah, that's a guy I can work with. I'll find a role for him. He looks like a guy that Mike McDonald just has a wet dream about when it comes to playing on the football field. Who was the Seahawks' best draft pick? If you had to pick one name that comes to mind, who would it be and why? Away in the comments section and tell us who that is. Final thoughts. with his job on the line. This was the most important draft of John Schneider's career. Schneider delivered. And we'll see what the end results are, how these players develop, and where this team goes from here. But I can sit here right now and I can say, with as much young talent as there is on this roster, with the players that are there, I think an excellent young coach and Mike McDonald as well. The future is bright in Seattle. There's a lot of reason to be hopeful and optimistic going forward from here. I'm feeling pretty good, and I think John knocked it out of the park this offseason. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of today's video, spam real one in the comment section. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right. Now, let's go back to the Super Chat menu. If we get Super Chats of any amount, we can keep the show going. If not, we will sign off and we will call it a day. I'm putting 1 minute on the clock. Last call on Super Chats. Whatever is on you guys' minds, if you want to talk Seahawks, if you want to talk anything else, by all means, send us a Super Chat. Last chance to get on today's show. We're at 125 in Super Chats. Still got a ways to get to 300 for a boot, but we've seen some crazy stuff happen on this show before. $sign next to the chat box. First time Super Chatters get the Seahawks chant. $5, we'll give you a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, spin the wheel of punishment. $50, we will do a beer bong. Up to you guys if you want to get involved and keep this show going. We'll see what you guys have in store. Got another live show coming up on Wednesday. We'll do a Madden sim as well. And then Friday, we'll have another live show with a Madden sim. So stay tuned for that here on Seahawks Today. So we certainly appreciate you all for being here with us and kicking off your week here on the channel. We'll have more on the channel tonight and then throughout the week as well in the coming days ahead. That will about do it for us. Thanks for hanging out here on Seahawks Today. For Big Tex, I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night, everybody. Subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. We'll see you next time. So long.